Yep.
All right, good morning. Thanks everybody for coming out. My name is Leonard Proper. I'm the Assistant Chief of Special Events for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. And as we do every year around Memorial Day, we kick off the boating season. Today we're here to announce our joint amplified enforcement efforts that will take place for the next few months in our local waterways. Our goal is to protect the manatees and the importance of boater safety. Before I explain our enforcement action, I want to introduce some of our partners that we have with us today. Jim Suber from the Mayor's Office, he's our City Dockmaster. Jerry Pinto from JU, he's our biologist. We have Captain Gary Klein from FWC, here with us as well. And then of course we have our local friends from Clay County and St. Johns County who could not be here today, but we work together on a regular basis. Basically, the river, our city has approximately 30,000 registered boaters in Duval County. We have a lot of marine life, we have a lot of activity. We currently patrol 125 square miles of navigable water throughout Duval County. These waters include everywhere from Ortega, Julington Creek, Goodby's, all the way down to the ICW and into the ocean. As many of you know, the federal and state government has a high manatee mortality rate. And these endangered mammals, it's easy to spot if you pay attention to the speed limits and look closely as you're underway. Last year, 2011, there were 6 manatee deaths in Duval County. Of those manatee deaths, those 6 manatee deaths were caused by boating accidents. In 2009, there was 14 manatee deaths, 8 of which were caused by boating accidents. Some of these law enforcement agencies' vessels are clearly marked, and some are not marked. So when we work these manatee zones, it's not always going to be marked police boats in there. But we're going to give you the opportunity today to go underway, and we're going to show you examples of how, being flat in the water and no wake zones and how to be able to commute through manatee zones so that we can try to preserve and protect these endangered species. Currently, federal fines for manatee zone violations range from $125 to $25,000 or 6 months in prison. The United States Fish and Wildlife Service is the principal federal agency responsible for the protection enforcement activity. We have some pamphlets that we're going to share with the media today, and these pamphlets will be sent to you electronically that you can put onto your website that shows you every place in Duval County that has manatee zones and that has speed restrictions as it pertains to boating. Some of the additional facts that we have in the JSO Marine Unit is that there was 28 derelict boats that we addressed throughout 2011. We participated in 31 different search and rescues and 578 boater safety investigations, which includes education about manatee zones to the boaters. The JSO Marine Unit also participated in more than 25 different presentations, boat shows, and public activities such as the Sheriff's Advisory Council to educate the public about our waterway speed zones and manatee zones. At this point, I would like to introduce a couple of our partners so they can share some of their expertise and how important it is to maintain a commitment to preserve and protect and enforce our laws on the waterways. So first, I'd like to bring up Captain Gary Klein from FWC.
I would like to reinforce and elaborate upon some of the things that Assistant Chief Proper just brought up. Before I do that, I would like to say that I really appreciate the efforts that the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and their Marine Unit makes towards manatee zone enforcement and boating safety. They do a remarkable job, and they're a wonderful partner. I would like to build upon the boating safety component initially and state that this is the kickoff of the boating season. We usually see a spike in boating accidents right around this time, and also we're going to be out there in force in these zones and outside of the zones, and as Chief Proper stated, in marked boats and unmarked boats, looking for manatee zone violations. And one of the reasons we do that is that's oftentimes one of the first signs for boating under the influence arrest. They're not paying attention to all the things around them, an impaired boater, and they're the ones who can go through a speed zone, and every other boat is fully settled in the water and moving slowly, and they're like froggers zigzagging all around them, and they don't quite realize it. So they kind of dovetail where boating safety and manatee zone enforcement can go hand in hand. One of the other things I'd like to mention is that the manatees don't know where the manatee zones are. And as a result, I think it's incumbent on every boater to know how to look for a manatee and how to spot a manatee. One of the most important things is polarized lenses for your sunglasses. That works during daylight hours. One of the problems we have is the St. Johns River has a good bit of turbidity to it, and you can't really see that well into it. So one of the other things to look for is the telltale sign of the manatee, which we call the footprint, and that is where you have this upwelling when the manatee's tail is pumping and he's trying to get away from the boat because he hears the propeller and what have you, and it's an upwelling, and it becomes like a disturbed surface area on the water about the size of a platter, maybe 2 feet across or something like that. And oftentimes you'll see one, and then you'll see another one and another one in succession. You can tell what direction the manatee is moving, so you want to stay away from that. That's about all I have for now. You have about 20 minutes? Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to reiterate that swirl pattern that Captain Klein is talking about is really a good indication of seeing where manatees are. Another thing I would like to impress on people is that we really have a lot of manatees in the area right now. On a recent flight yesterday, we counted 189 manatees in the area. That represents the highest single-day count of manatees in the area for a number of years now. They are in big groups. Many boaters will, when you approach shallow areas near docks, keep an eye out for manatees. There may be mating groups around, in which case you will see a lot of action in the water, swirling around. Please avoid those areas, and also be very careful. Use your polarized sunglasses to look out for manatees. When you are fishing, if your boat has been idle for a while, make sure that when you get ready to get underway again, when you start your engine, keep them in neutral. Check the area, look around the boat, make sure there are no manatees around, and then proceed with caution and look out and pay attention to the manatee zones and the speed zones. And that will go a long way to preserving both human welfare as well as animal welfare. With that, thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for anybody here?
Can you just touch a little bit more on how important it is to preserve these endangered species?
Yeah, I don't know, Gary might be a little bit better than me. They're federally protected mammals. They're endangered species, and they're protected by the federal government. You know, we're fortunate to have this species in Florida, so we have an obligation, all of our citizens, to protect them. Very important. You know, they're like those species that could one day be extinct if we didn't do something to preserve them. So we take it very serious in Jacksonville, and all of our enforcement partners do as well. So this is serious, and that's why we have y'all here today, and that's why we want to make everybody that has a boat or enjoys our great river that you know, this is important, and we need to make sure that we protect them.
Thank you. That was great.
How bad is the boating under the influence problem? Let's say on an average Memorial Day weekend, and how many might you take away and
Oh
lock
gosh,
up?
that'd be hard to guess like that. And boating under the influence is the same as driving under the influence. Same sanctions, same testing, same everything. It's just a little more difficult because it's on boat. So there's more DUIs during Memorial Day weekend, and there'll be more BUIs. How many would be hard to say.
One of the problems inherent to boating is that as part of the boating culture, unfortunately, it's associated with consumption of alcohol, and has been for many years. We're trying to do what we can to get as many people to have a designated operator. We still want people to have fun out there on the water, but obviously somebody who's under the influence of alcohol or drugs, such that their normal faculties are impaired, they're just a danger to themselves and others. But it's that culture that I think you'll sometimes see more alcohol being consumed in a boat versus a motor vehicle.
It's like people feel boating and drinking just go together.
They do.
But designated operators
Boating,
definitely.
drinking, and crashes,
Well, and also-
I would say, go together.
I think like when you're out on the boat, you don't realize how much you drank with the sun on you and that sort of thing. You also get
It exacerbates the effects of alcohol. You're already getting, you know, the environmental factors, the wind, the rocking of the boat, the sounds of the engine, everything is wearing on you. You add alcohol to that, it makes you that much more impaired.
Do you mind saying that in front of the microphone?
I can't repeat it. I don't know.
That's perfect.
Made it up as they went along.
One of the things unique to a boating environment as regards to operating under the influence is that the environmental conditions that are placed upon a boat operator are different from what's in a climate-controlled atmosphere of a motor vehicle. You've got wind, you've got the rocking of the boat, you've got no pretty white and yellow lines to keep the boat in, and the engine noise, the vibrations, everything acts upon the human body to exacerbate the effects of alcohol.
Before you get away, why polarized sunglasses versus regular sunglasses?
There's something about polarized sunglasses that allows you to see and penetrate into the waters. The glare that you see on the water surface is eliminated by polarized lenses, and they aren't by other just simply, you know, darkened sunglasses.
You weren't at the mic earlier, but talk about the culture of boating and drinking a little bit. You said that's
one of the problems with boating under the influence is that there has been in the past a culture of drinking associated with boating, unfortunately, and there is a link, obviously, between boating, drinking, and then deaths and crashes. So we would like to encourage everyone to nominate or designate a designated operator every time they go out boating. We don't want to tell people not to have fun. It is lawful to consume alcohol on a boat, unlike a motor vehicle, but the same laws apply to the operator if they are under the influence. The same penalties apply, as Assistant Chief Cropper mentioned before, as well. And there's stacking components. If you've had a prior DUI and then you get a BUI, it'll be a second offense, and you have an enhanced penalty. There's also enhanced penalties if you have children under the age of 18 on board the boat, or you blow what we call a double blow, where you're .16 or higher.